In last couple of lectures, we discussed about the separately excited DC motor and shunt DC motor, and then we discussed about the speed control of shunt and separately excited DC motor. In today's lecture, we'll be studying about the series DC motor. As we've already discussed, in a series DC motor, the field winding is connected in series with the armature. If suppose this is armature winding here, this is armature resistance, this is field resistance, and this is field inductance. This is RA, that is armature resistance. Since this part is the field part is connected in series with the armature. Though field, if we talk in terms of the construction, the field stays here, armature stays here, but this field winding is connected such that this armature winding and field winding are in series. So for example, this side is connected here to this braid, this is connected to this, and you have say voltage source VT over here, such that this winding is in series with this armature winding, and finally it goes here. Fine. So this is just a schematic here. The field winding is in series with this armature winding. Let's call this as RS. We'll call this as LS. Field winding, but this is in series. So we call this as RS and we call this as LS. This is terminal voltage VT. This is IL. Here in this case, load current, armature current, field current, all the three are same. The same current you can call field current, which is a series field, we can call this IS. Same current as IA, armature current. Fine. Here in this case, load current IL is equivalent to armature current IA is also equal to series current IS. All the three are same. And what is the Kirchhoff's equation for this? The Kirchhoff's equation is terminal voltage VT has to be equal to armature voltage EA plus, let's call this some IA, this current, IA RA plus RS. This is the terminal voltage. Why haven't I included LS? Because DC does not have an impact on DC does not cause any voltage drop across the inductor. That's why I have ignored inductance LS in the KVL. Fine. Now we basically want to plot the terminal characteristics of this motor, series motor. Before we plot the terminal characteristics of this motor, let's first try to find out the expression for torque in this motor. The torque in this motor is considerably different. The expression for torque in this motor is considerably different than the torque in the shunt motor or separately excited motor. One of the main differences in the series motor and the motor that we have discussed before is that since the field is connected in series with the armature, that is, the field current is same as the armature current. This has a serious effect on the motor. Since we know induced torque is equivalent to K phi IA you remember this flux? This flux is the flux produced by the field. Here in this case, since this flux is produced by the field, that field is in series with the armature. So the flux produced by this field depends upon the field current. But here field current is same as armature current. So I can also write this as flux phi is equivalent to a constant say C times armature current IA. In this case, field current depends upon the field flux depends upon the armature current itself. Phi is equal to C times IA. If I substitute this here, I can write induced torque is equivalent to a constant K into constant C into IA into another IA. So this becomes K constant C constant IA square. Thus in this case, the field flux is not independent of the armature current or is not dependent upon the armature current only via armature reaction. The field flux is completely dependent upon the armature current. More the armature current, more the field flux, at least till the saturation. Thus we have expression torque induced is equivalent to a constant, let's call this as K prime, K into C as K prime, IA square. That is, in series motor, induced torque is directly proportional to square of armature current. This is the reason that series DC motor has the highest torque per ampere of current. I will repeat. Series DC motor has the highest torque per ampere of current than any other DC motor. This is why this is used in applications that require very high torques, motors which require very high torque. Examples are, this is used in starting motors, of cars, elevators, traction, and some vacuum cleaners. Now let's try to derive the terminal characteristics of series DC motor. As we have discussed already, terminal characteristics is basically the plot of omega versus induced torque. We want to plot the speed of the motor with respect to the induced torque. Omega versus induced torque. We'll again be using the KVL equation to begin with. Since we know Vt is equivalent to EA plus IA RA plus RS. Also, we know that flux phi is equivalent to C times IA. If I substitute it here, I can write this as Vt is equal to EA is K phi omega plus we also have T induced is equivalent to KCIA square, or from this we have IA is equivalent to under root of tau induced by Kc. If I substitute this value of Ia here, I will write it as T induced divided by Kc into Ra plus Rs. Since I want to plot between omega and tau induced, they are all constants except for flux phi. So I can substitute for flux here. I know this flux phi is equal to C times Ia, which is equal to C times under root of tau induced divided by Kc which is equal to under root of C, 1 under root go with 1 under root, so under root C stays here, tau induced divided by K, or I can write under root of C divided by K into under root of tau induced. I will substitute this here, so I will get Vt is equivalent to K phi, Vt is equal to K, how did I write this? So I can write this as Vt is equivalent to K under root of C by K under root of tau induced omega plus under root of tau induced divided by Kc into Ra plus Rs. We can also write this as Vt is equivalent to this becomes under root K under root C under root tau induced into omega plus under root of tau induced divided by under root of Kc into Ra plus Rs. If I take this to this side, I can write under root of Kc under root of tau induced into omega is equivalent to Vt minus Ra plus Rs divided by under root of Kc into under root of tau induced. So I will divide by this here, so this becomes omega is equivalent to Vt divided by under root of Kc into 1 by under root of tau induced minus this becomes Ra plus Rs, this tau induced and tau induced will go, under root Kc becomes Kc. So this is the final expression of omega as a function of torque. What we can observe here is omega is inversely proportional to under root of T induced. That is, omega is inversely proportional to square root of induced torque. If we plot this expression, this omega with respect to tau induced, this becomes something like this. As we can see, as induced torque becomes equal to 0, it cannot be exactly equal to 0, but when induced torque is a very small value, when induced torque almost tends to 0, omega tends to infinity. That's why I've drawn this as an asymptotic curve over here. This goes to infinity. Thus, we should take care never to completely unload a series DC motor. Why? Because if you unload a series DC motor, the induced torque will be a very small value equal to the frictional and windage torques. Induced torque will be a very small value. When induced torque will be a very small value, omega will be very large. And this motor will run at a very large speed and can damage itself. Fine. So this is the reason why series DC motors are never connected in such a way that load can get disconnected. Also, they should not be connected using the conveyor belts such that if the belt gets broke down, induced torque becomes 0 and speed becomes infinity. Now finally, what is the method of speed control for series DC motor? Since in this case armature current and field current are same, you cannot independently control the field current over here. So field resistance method is not an option. You may use armature resistance method, that's also equivalent to field resistance here. We'll come to that. But field resistance method, field cannot be controlled independently over here. So the only method that is practically possible over here is the armature voltage control method. Armature voltage control method. You can see from this expression, Vt is in the numerator of the first term. As we increase the terminal voltage, for same induced torque, speed will increase. If we decrease the terminal voltage, for same induced torque, speed will decrease. Thus, armature voltage control is basically used to control the speed of DC series motor. You can also use series resistance method. You can insert a resistance here in series, like we did in the armature resistance method. But again, since that is a wasteful method, you are basically wasting the energy in that method. That is seldom used. Otherwise, if we insert the resistance in series, that means you are increasing this term Ra. Increasing Ra will decrease omega. So in theory, you can adjust omega by adjusting the armature resistance, but this is seldom used because this is a wasteful method. In next lecture, we'll start with compound DC motors.